And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster, touching base with you as I do every day. How you guys doing? How are you? Today is Tip Tuesday. We're going to talk some photography tips in the final half hour of our time together. And I hope you guys, it's going to be a quick one today. Today's an easy topic. Let me just see if I can bring this up to the stage. We're talking about 3 self-challenging creative projects for photography. That's what we're going to be talking about later on. So you have that information, so you know what you got to look forward to. But it is Tip Tuesday. Welcome. And let's see who's in the building. Let's see who's first in the building. Chris R is in the building. She gets the gold. Chris says good morning. And we have in second place, Aya, your name just it needs to always be sung out. It needs to be always Aya. Anyway, Aya, it sends grand rising, Ron, and everyone. And third but not least is Rashawn. Good morning, Ron and our LP family. And we have Jazzy in the building. What's going on? She says good morning. We have Anthony in the building. He says good morning. We have Elise in the building. She says good morning. She says good morning, everyone. And Kelly Ye is in the building. Good morning, everyone. There's a lot going on. And for those that are not following the news, I know Elise has been taking a little sabbatical from the news world, and some people are not tuning in, but there's a lot going on. First of all, the death toll from the Hurricane Helene has been just crazy. I think now it's up to 130 plus. That is. And they still said there's 600 people missing. Can you imagine? There are still 600 people missing. And that is not so much so that is also because they have no cellular service in a lot of these areas. These areas have been cut off, no roads and no cellular service. So they're like totally in the dark in some areas. And I showed photos yesterday of Asheville, and it's so hard to believe that I was there in December last year. Had such an amazing time in Asheville at the Biltmore mansion, and hanging out at the Biltmore Village, and also going to all the little shops along the river and railroad tracks. And all those places have been destroyed. The only thing that has not been destroyed is the Biltmore mansion, and that is because it's way up on in the hills, pretty much on the top of a peak of I don't want to call it the mountain, but it's of a plateau. But everything else, it is terrible. It is horrible. The news, the footage, and I just been watching it. And one thing is because when you look at it, you say, oh my gosh, I went there. I went to that store. I went to that restaurant. Oh, wow, that gallery. And today was the first time I saw the gallery that we went to. There was an amazing gallery in town. And it has such beautiful artwork. And to know that, and it had a basement. So I know that is definitely destroyed. And we had to go down to the lower level to see some of that beautiful art. And it's just sad because, again, Asheville, the people are so beautiful there, so kind. Everyone we ran into was so beautiful and just so sweet. And they have a lot of digging out to do. And we were supposed to be going back there for Christmas, in that window between Thanksgiving and Christmas. But we look like we may have to change our plans because it is total devastation. And we still don't even know about the place that we stayed at in the mountains. We stayed way up in the hills, and there was no cellular service on a regular day. But there couple, they built this beautiful campgrounds with like 4 beautiful homes that were pitched in the mountains. And I just can't imagine what it looks like there. And I think I was trying to reach out and figure out the name of the place yesterday, but my friends, I'm sure Nia is probably reached out to them. And but yeah, it's just horrible. It's a horrible. And there's another storm in the Gulf that's brewing. Don't know where it's going to go. They're saying that it's not going to be as strong as this one, but they say that all the time. And I mean, this was supposed to have been a category 2. Remember when at the beginning of the week they were saying, "Oh, it's going to just be a category 2." Then next thing you know, it's going to be a category 3. The next thing you know, category 4. So it goes to show you the water temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico are so warm that it is the fuel to these strong hurricanes. And it's not just happening here. Nepal, they had their landslide, killed several people, lots of rainfall in Nepal. And I was looking at that the other day also. And so it's happening around the world. They had a weather system that was stuck. So it got stuck in Nepal. And it just rained and rained and rained. And so, guys, this is our new world. This is the new world of under climate change, and climate change is real. And for all those people that don't believe in climate change, well, you don't have to believe it. It's like they say, you don't have to believe the sky is blue. But hello, most of us who are walking out the door, we can look up and see that the sky is blue. You can deny, but it's still blue. And we are, I just feel sorry for all the people that come after us. Most of us will be gone in 50 years. Here and gone. Most of us will be gone in 50 years, 50, 60 years. And the world we leave behind is, and I know there's some people that don't care. They only see themselves in the moment. They want to do drill baby drill, take away the national parks, get rid of those, drill on all public land, just destroy the planet. And they don't care because they just want to make money. And this takes me also back to Project 2025. For those that we're still talking about Project 2025. We're still talking about it because it impacts every area of our lives. And it's a section of getting rid of the NOAA. And could you imagine if there was no NOAA and there was no weather prediction center? How many more lives would have been lost? How many more lives would have been lost in this event if there was no way to know that the storms were coming? Because Project 2025 was to get rid of NOAA. It's just, guys, we got to vote like our lives depend on it. Guess what? Why? Because it does. It does. And we were thinking about the other day. Also, this happened in I do believe Georgia, where the chemical plant was on fire, and people had to lock down and get under, just kind of like hunker down because the air was so bad, and they had the plumes of smoke were just billowing. And again, what would you do without the EPA, Environmental Protection Act? What would you do? And Project 2025 wants to get rid of that. So it's just, we have to vote like our lives depend on it, because it does. And so Hurricane Helene death toll continues to increase. And let's keep all those people in the Carolinas, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, East Tennessee, and Florida in our prayers and thoughts. And if there's any way you can help those in those areas, because there's lots of Red Cross campaigns going on right now. There are several states, I know, like in New York, we sent people to help. There are people in Florida that are sending people, even the people that had been impacted by the hurricane. They are sending people up to the Carolinas because it looks so, it's horrific. It's horrific. Okay, so there we go. That was one subject I just wanted to definitely bring to your attention. I see there's some folks in the room. Chris Edwards is in the building. He says, "Good morning, Touch Base Daily family." I see Bryson's in the building. Let me take a drink before I say Bryson's. Okay, Bryson, I'm ready for you. What's up, Ron? What's up, RLP fam? What's up, CQ fam? Welcome to the first month of October. And it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month all month long, and AMC Fear Fest all month long, and 31 nights of Halloween. Don't y'all love Bryson? Bryson, I love you, bro. You always keep us what's going on in the entertainment world, what's happening, and just giving us these beautiful trivias or information. I love it. I love sharing with your information every day. It brings a smile to my face. Yes, but this time I needed a drink because I was getting dry after talking before saying it. Who else is in the building? Kimmy Kim is in the building. What's going on, Kimmy Kim? She says, there are high school students from my city who were on a camping trip to North Carolina that are stranded. Families are so concerned. Wow. Yes, let's keep them in our prayers. Speaking of prayers, continue to keep Hannah in your prayers. Hannah, 2 days ago, she went to the emergency room, had a high fever. They were able to, get the fever down and kind of like take care of her, but she's home resting. And she says to tell you guys to keep her in your prayers. That's our wonderful Hannah. So make sure you keep Hannah in your prayers as well. Elise says, it's such a tragedy. It certainly is. It certainly is. I look forward every morning. I look forward to just coming here and just hanging out with you guys. It's like you are the great reason to start my day. I mean, obviously I'm up earlier and I'm doing all the stuff that I need to do to prepare for being here. And but you guys are anchor. Thank you I just want to say to each and every one of you for being an anchor in my life. Everyone has to have a sense of purpose. We all need senses of purpose. And some folks go through depression, or they go through moments of self-harm, or whatever that situation may be. And they've simply just lost their purpose. And purpose is so key to surviving life, because life can throw some curveballs. It can throw some curveballs, and you are like, where did that come from? But when you look at the overall purpose, whatever your purpose is, for some it's your children, for some it's your parents, for some it's your next door neighbor, for some it's your coworkers at work, for some it's a relative somewhere, for some it's just the sense of surviving for your business or the people that you serve every day. Purpose is so key to surviving life. So let's all find some purpose. If you don't have purpose, let's grab hold of purpose. I see here, Bryson. Yes, Bryson says, we're less than, Bryson. Yes, brother. Yes, brother. He says, we're less than 36 days from the elections. 36 days from the elections, which brings me to something I wanted to share with you all. And this is a screen share. And this is something that I don't know how many of you have MSNBC, but this was so we're going to spend, I'm going to have to spend, there's so much information behind this that you're going to have to see it actually. Let me just pop this on the screen. Let's see here. This is Rachel Maddow, one of my favorite journalists, anchor people, personalities on TV. Why do I love Rachel so much? Is because Rachel educates her audience. She spends a lot of time laying down all these facts and history, which before you, there's a whole length of history before what I'm going to show you. But what I'm going to show you is so alarming that even when she says, you know, I debated on sharing this, but I have no choice but to share it. It is, if you think Trump is scary, if you think Trump is scary, see, Trump is an idiot. We all know that. Trump is an idiot. Trump just trying to stay out of jail. That's his whole purpose. Trump could care less about America. Trump could care less about the country. Trump could care less about people. Trump is really all about Trump. We all know that. Trump is his mindset is the basics of a primate just to survive. He is not someone that strategizes. Most people are like, oh, he planned this and he planned that. He's not capable of strategic thinking. He's just not. For all of us that know Trump from New York City, have watched his career, have watched his shares and speeches and talks and all even The Apprentice, he's not capable. He is a Trojan horse. He is the Trojan horse. They are using his fame, his cult following to get him into office, to usher in J.D. Vance. Trump will most likely, this is just my, as I gather my information, he is the Trojan horse. He's the one that's going to grab all, because J.D. Vance and no one in the Republican Party can muster up the people to vote for the Republicans. They have no policies. They have nothing. You need the cult following. However, the person you need to be worried about, yes, we got to worry about Trump because he's crazy. Dementia, he's probably got early dementia and a lot of other stuff. There's another platform. I'll bring it up on Focus Friday. There's a platform I want everyone to know. The woman, she's a psychologist, and she has analyzed Trump as a professional. And same with his niece. Or I should say his cousin. Oh, no, sorry, his niece. But I want you to hear this. And we'll probably, the good thing is I don't have any monetary, I'm not doing anything monetary on my YouTube channel yet, so I can share this. Rachel Maddow, you have to see this. This is yesterday's show. You have to see this. It's yesterday's show. And here we go.
endowment and then see what happens. And he has a plan to do this as part of a larger plan to destroy all the things which conservatives don't have complete control over. And it's not just the universities, which is, again, on and off for a century been a topic of concern of the far right. But it also, for J.D. Vance, includes the private sector, businesses. Here he is in that same interview explaining that the right wing needs to start doing stuff that's really, really, really radical, including to businesses. And both J.D. Vance and his interviewer both clearly find this very exciting.
Look, capital money itself is increasingly taking a side in the culture war. And I hate to say it's not our side. It's not the side that I want to win. Unless you're willing to make these people feel economic pain, there's no serious way to fight back against it. The only way to push back against this stuff in a real way is to make these companies feel economic pain. And so, there are a lot of ideas out there for how to do it. If you're not recognizing in this moment how crazy things have gotten and how outside the box we need to think, then I think you're ultimately not really serious about taking back the country. And yeah, look, I agree. We are in a late Republican period. If we're going to push back against it, we have to get pretty wild and pretty far out there and go in directions that a lot of conservatives right now are uncomfortable with.
Indeed. I got to say, among some of my circle, the phrase extra constitutional has come up quite a bit. We do need to take a much more aggressive stance, a much more muscular stance. We're going to have to, become a little bit more robust in our behavior.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And look, I think that what's so difficult about this moment for conservatives is that we love the country so much that we don't want to admit to ourselves how far gone things are, right? And I hear this from a lot of conservatives. Look, it is still the best country in the world, but we are accelerating very, very quickly to a place that none of us want to go. And it's really time to wake up.
Keep talking about extra constitutional. Yeah, we're accelerating to a place we really don't want to go. We're in a late Republican period. He doesn't mean capital R Republican. He means we're at the end of us being a republic. J.D. Vance says not only do conservatives need to, in his words, wake up, but what they need to wake up to is the fact that most of American life and culture should be, in his words, ripped out like a tumor. Those are, again, his words, not mine. Watch.
Our leaders right now are so corrupt and so vile that if you assimilate into their culture, you're assimilating into like garbage liberal elite culture. You're not assimilating into traditional American culture. And so this is a tough pickle for me. I don't even know what the right answer is here, because you can't just teach these things. You can't teach that we live in a great country if the leaders are actively aligned against it. So almost the thing that you need to do, step one in the process, is to totally replace, like rip out like a tumor, the current American leadership class, and then reinstall some sense of American, political religion.
We need to rip it out like a tumor and then install political religion.
Do y'all hear this? I mean, this is that also you see back when he's talking about the businesses. And remember, I always say, pain is the point. Pain and cruelty is the point. These people operate on a whole diabolical mindset. It is the pain of others, the cruelty of others that they strive for. Listen to what Rachel says. It is so, you're going to, wait till you hear this.
The man who is interviewing J.D. Vance here gets very excited about this idea, and it leads, this is important here, it leads J.D. Vance to explain sort of influences on his thought, where he gets his ideas on subjects like this.
You said something that I would like to zero down on. How do we effectively, quote, rip out the disgusting leadership class?
Oh, man. I mean,
Because let me expand on that just a second, because and I'm going to give you a little cover here, because it's not just, I mean, obviously elections, that's one thing. Okay. But unfortunately, this evil leadership class has already taken over all of our institutions. Current pipeline is to turn them into those people that we just called evil and disgusting. How do we, aside from elections, how do we rip out this leadership class? So these institutions are corrupted and rotted to the core. This elite ideology is everywhere and in all the things. What other options do we have besides voting them out, which we're seeing is ineffectual?
Yeah. So again, this is like a tough question, but this is maybe the question that confronts us right now. You know, there's this guy, Curtis Yarvin, who's written about some of these things.
Knowing chuckle there. There's this guy, Curtis Yarvin, who's written about some of these things. You're asking, hey, we don't want elections anymore. Voting is ineffectual. We want to destroy the whole thing. We want to destroy not only the system of government, but the whole American system, like we're ripping out a tumor. How do we do that specifically? Whereupon Vance says, gets palpably uncomfortable, buys himself a little time, and then says, yeah, there's this guy, Curtis Yarvin, who writes about this stuff.
It's going to get crazy, y'all.
Chuckle from the interviewer. This is Curtis Yarvin, who J.D. Vance is citing here as he is talking about the need to, seize the universities, use the government to destroy businesses who aren't right-wing, talking about needing to rip out the American system like a tumor. Here's the guy he is citing as his sort of the source of his thinking on these matters.
So I've reduced this very complicated problem to a simple 4-letter acronym, which is RAGE. And RAGE stands for Retire All Government Employees. Very, very, very simple. Now, the problem with this is, why have you never heard this before? Why has no one ever suggested, let's just get rid of this thing? You have government in Washington. You're either for it or against it. What is government? A government is just a corporation which owns the country. Nothing more, nothing less. It so happens that our sovereign corporation is very poorly managed. And there's a very simple way to replace that, which is what we do to all corporations that have failed. We simply delete them. We haven't been able to do that with our government for 200 years. So it's gotten a little bit stale.
We should delete the U.S. government because it's stale. It has been around for too long. We haven't been able to do that, meaning delete our government for 200 years, so it's gotten a bit stale. It's been around too long. So what would that entail, deleting the U.S. government?
The other thing about getting rid of your government is you can't just say, well, the limits of the government are the limits of the formal government. You have to say, well, what is the system actually? And it includes a lot of things that are called NGOs, things that are called universities, things that are funded by the state. It's a very, very large system, and it all needs to be destroyed. Fortunately, there's a lot of talented Americans who actually know how to run things and make things work and are generalists. And you can just get these people, put them in a position of responsibility and have them do their thing. And finally, you need a CEO, and a national CEO is what's called a dictator. It's the same thing. There's no difference between a CEO and a dictator. If Americans want to change their government, they're going to have to get over their dictator phobia.
Did y'all hear that?
If Americans want to change their government, they're going to have to get over their dictator phobia. So the vice presidential candidates debate is tomorrow. Tim Walz, the Democratic candidate, has been a governor, is currently the governor of Minnesota. He's been a long-term congressman, high school teacher, football coach, a soldier for decades.
So you get the point. I mean, you guys can see the rest of it. But did you just hear that? The whole point, these people have totally embraced the idea of a dictator. They have told, and Vance, this is one of his people. This is one of his sources of his ideas. And if y'all think Project 2025 is not real, whoever's out there in the world, whoever has a chance to see this video, if you think Project 25 is not real and can't possibly happen, I mean, she goes into it and she takes it, she breaks it down. You just like, what the? It is so, guys, we have to. You probably hear Lee say it. You hear I say it all the time. We all say it here in this space. These people are truly out to destroy the country. To destroy the country. They want a dictatorship. They feel like democracy has not worked for them. Democracy has not worked for them. So they feel like they must rip out the government like a tumor and put in a political, religious leader who is a dictator. This is one of the most, I mean, I've seen some footage before. I mean, and Rachel, she's done such an amazing job over the couple of years sharing this kind of information. But this one, when you really listen to these people, it is enough to keep you up at night if you weren't a praying person. It is so scary. I see you guys have been typing in here. So let me just go in here and see what you guys have been saying. Chris says, oops, let me pop here. It is. Chris says, I watched last night. It was so good. He says, go watch this episode. Watch it. I see here. What else is in here? I see. Let me just tag this here right here in a moment. Let me put this in here. Kamala Harris is leading up by 54. Gotcha. Yes, happy birthday. Nothing trustworthy about him. And nothing trustworthy about him. And they still okay with him. These people are not just conservatives. They are extremists. They're not even conservatives. They are not conservatives at all. These are religious fanatics or extremists. Or, as I always say with Gwendolyn, we always talk and she always laughs at me when I say it. These are the people that they're broken. These are broken toys. This is truly the land of the misfit toys. These people are broken. They are broken to the place where they have no hope. They see no hope. They have no purpose. They see themselves as there's no chance for them under this system. So the system must be destroyed. These are scary folks. But again, Trump is not sophisticated in his thinking to think this way. He only recites what people tell him. But you notice that JD in this video, talking with this gentleman or this person, they're like really excited about changing the government, changing the way we live our lives. Hey, Cuzzo, I see you in there. Rob is in the building, my cousin. Yeah, hey, Dr. Tachi's in the building. Good morning, Dr. Tachi. Kaz Lou is in the building. Brian says, this idiot too much to unpack there. How did he think these smart people got their education? Yeah, because they were upset about education. They want to destroy all of education. They've been trying to, so they want to get rid of, not only do they want to get rid of the Department of Education, they want to get rid of education, period, across the country. They've been in the early part of this, there's a whole section that Rachel breaks down of these folks' desire to destroy the education system in America, colleges. It is the most fascinating one of Rachel's best stories, I will say, that we all should be learning from. Derek says, this is what is called too smart for your own good. Kimmy says, this is a power tripping. Jazzy says, part of the reason people can go around saying what that man said is because most in the USA don't understand how our government works. So they can get in front of dumb people, rage bait. Yes, Elise says this. I heard that CBS will not be doing the fact checking. However, what they will be doing is they have a QR code that you can click onto, and there'll be some fact checkers there, supposedly, for tonight. And just for those that are here, we're going to be having our watch party tonight. So we'll be here watching the debate together. So if you have nowhere to go and you want to hang out where everybody knows your name, come on down. We'll be here we're going to have our little cheers moment here as we do our watch party tonight of the debate. I see here, Kimmy says, best country in the world, so it has nothing to do with government messing up. It's just them wanting to have what they want. This is also, again, white men, a particular type of white men in this country. They are terrified of losing power. They are terrified of the browning of America. They're terrified. And they have no reason to be terrified. But in their minds, they're terrified. They're terrified of the other. The other. Here's Fifi says, Vance knows he will be the real dictator and Rump is the Trojan horse. Van will say whatever they want to hear to get that power. Yeah. Do you actually think Trump would have put Vance in this position? It's no way. It is no way that Vance would be put in this position as vice president, as his running mate. Think about it. Who do you know would put someone as your right-hand man or woman that says they hate you, call you America's Hitler, and says they would never for you and never liked you and despised you? But yet you pick that person as your running mate? That's because there's a bigger scheme here. Because Trump had no say in who was his vice president. You think this guy, do you really think that this guy was picked by Trump? No. And there's a coincidence that J.D. Vance wrote the foreword for Project 2025? That he's in bed with all of these folks from Project 2025, that the Heritage Society says we have our man in place? It's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. They want to take America's freedom away. This is bigger than Trump. This is bigger than what you see. Project 2025 is real, y'all. It is real. It is real. And all of this stuff is connected to it. Anthony says, in order for them to win, they react like petulant children. They change the rules to benefit them. They're not trying to hide it. And yet we're looked at like conspiracy theorists when we bring it up. remember right now what's going on is that they are setting up. They've already put what do you call it? Protests in the courts against the election already. They already realize they are in a place that they're losing. So now they're trying to do other stuff behind the scenes. Speaking of other stuff, North Carolinians, I think it was last week or maybe it was this weekend, they took off thousands of people off the rolls, off the North Carolina voting rolls. Guys, if you're in North Carolina, as soon as early voting starts, you need to get in there and make sure you are on the rolls. They're trying to keep North Carolina, because North Carolina looks like it's going to flip. And he says Trump has always been a figurehead. Brian says, I'll tell them what I've seen them told. Why don't they just pull themselves up by the bootstraps? Yeah, that's what they always say. Exactly, looking like actual puppets. Got that. Okay. Unfortunately, they are broken. Tom, I say this every day. Unfortunately, they are broken misfit toys who make significant number of people see as their avengers. Wow. That's a good one, Tom. Jazzy says QR code as fact checks is not good enough. I agree. Chris says lazy on CBS's part. Where is the journalism? Where is the journalism? Yes, and Elise agrees. I agree, Jazzy. That's not a good idea. Elise, white Christian nationalist extremists. Yesterday, I saw Billy Graham's son, with Frank Graham, by the side of Trump as he was lying, saying, oh, that Biden wasn't listening to the governor, and the governor had already talked to the president. These people are just horrible people. Trump just lies he cannot speak without lying. He can't breathe without lying. Yes. What time is it? I gotta make sure I stay on time. Okay, it's time for class. It's time for some photography class. Send me the link to join you, Ron. You want me to send you the link? Okay, my dear. Hold on a second. Let me send you the link, my dearest. Oops, wrong one. Here we go. Let me send that to my Elise. Man, I'm gonna send it to Chris if he wants to pop on as well. Let's see here. Let me send you. I'll send it to you too. There we go. Send it to you guys. Okay. Send it to Elise and Chris. I sent you guys a link if you guys want to pop on and share your share extra, because this was an interesting topic. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Okay, so here we go. I got that in there. Okay, awesome. Let me see what you guys are saying. What's up, Felice? And Dr. Holly says, wow, I saw that information, Jazzy. So guys, again, make sure you go to Rachel Maddow. It's yesterday's episode. See the whole episode, because the whole episode, she takes it down from the country going back to being great again, and where that phrase comes from, and she takes it and pulls you in all the way through the history with Henry Ford and all of these, the business and the industrial age. It is one of the most Rachel Maddow. People can say whatever they want to say about her. She is an educator, and I love people who educate us. Anyway, hey Elise, what's going on, my dearest?
Hi, Ron. How are you?
Good. I didn't want to bother you because I feel like she probably hasn't watched the news in a couple of weeks. I know you've been on a diet.
I haven't been watching TV, but I've been, I still keep up with information.
Okay.
Through, trusted sources online, and my husband. We get a a physical newspaper every day. So we still have paper newspapers.
That's
So
right. It's
all
still
the
paper.
op-ed pieces and all that stuff. So I still get information. But I just wanted to say, and I always have to go back to where I told this light is reflecting off my picture, my artwork. So terrible this morning. But anyway.
There you go. Your head is blocking it. You're good. You're
yes,
good.
It's
You're in the
blocking.
right
I
spot.
try to position so it blocks it. So, and I keep telling people, I told you all from day one, I've been telling people since 2020 to read Octavia Butler's book.
Yes.
Parable of the Talent. Everything that he's talking about happens in this book. We have to be prepared for, they're going to try to cause, like when you listen to him talk, it's an undertone of violence in there.
Yes.
There's an undertone of violence. He's not saying it out loud. Like, how do you cut out the tumor? He's talking about violence.
Yes, violence.
And we're not, and they're trying to cover it up, right? And we need to understand what the impacts are. We understand, and what most people really, really don't understand, this is a fight for your life.
Mm-hmm.
It is a fight for your life. In Maryland, they have people who had recently infused $18 million into the campaign for Larry Hogan. These people are fighting for their lives on the Republican side. So they're going to do whatever they can. And they know that Hogan has a reputation in Maryland, and he might be able to get the Democrats to vote, some people to vote for him. And that needs to not happen. The trickery is out there. But we don't understand, like, when this man speaks, and I totally believe that what you said. I believe that he was told to select this man as his vice president, running mate, by the Heritage Foundation, because he's their poster child.
Yes.
Because even though he said what he said in the past, they found out they can use him because he wants power.
Yes.
He wants the power, so they can use him to get what they want. And he has more focus than Trump does.
Yes.
That's why they're using him.
And he's smarter. He's smarter. He's a smarter person than Trump. Yeah.
And the intention is for them to get elected, and for Trump to step out of there before the 4 years are up.
That's right.
That's the plan to do that. And for all of the and people think Project 2025 is just the beginning of what they want to do. Because yes. I don't know if I have seen where people have been calling for them to share. And I saw a clip where Ayanna Pressley has told, she wants to know what's in the pillar that you can't see.
Yeah, the one with a couple other pillars.
Days, right? You can only see this big one. And then the guy that he is listening to and spoke about when Rachel showed that part, that's about eliminating all the federal government workers who aren't loyalists to it's not about Trump either. It's about their platform. It's about what they want. This is not just signing a loyalty pledge to him. This is signing a loyalty pledge to the extremists that are out there, to the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society. We can't forget who those players are because they're still in play. They're the ones running everything. Steve Bannon is out there working from jail.
That's right.
So we can't forget that part. And I just think it's just important that people understand the significance of what's happening right now. And I continue to say that the majority of mainstream media is complicit. They're complicit in all of this. And even if they ran the first part of what the former president said down there, standing in Augusta, Georgia, where they had to use their resources, their vital resources to surround the area where he was standing with these massive trucks while there's major cleanup that needs to happen in that city. They had to have the emergency services out there protecting him and doing work for him.
Yes.
In the midst of all of this while he lies.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy now. And I want people to really think about the fact that of what I put in the chat. These people are not conservatives. These are extremists. These are the Hitlers of the world. We're talking about the country they want is run by Christian nationalist extremists. Is the same. Is no different.
They're not Christians.
They're not Christians. I always want to put quotes around. These are white nationalists.
These are white nationalist Christians disguised as Christians.
And understand that what they're describing is no different than what the Taliban has over there in Afghanistan and how Hitler did Germany. They're coming straight out of Hitler's playbook.
Yes.
The name calls everything they do, and the violence that's being spoken against companies and everything. So my thing is when they say that, we need to go back and make sure that those companies are viable. We need to make sure that those people know that, because it's more of us. It really is at the end of the day more of us than there is them. We just have to know that and use what we have. Hi, Chris.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Chris.
How are you doing today? I'm sitting here working and watching on the side, and I'm glad you sent the invitation because I really want to emphasize. I'm so happy that you shared the Rachel Maddow clips of it from last night, but I'm going to really encourage everyone. You know, despite what you might think, if you don't like her or not, please go and watch last night's episode because it's so informative. And what I love about her is that she doesn't just put this stuff out, she educates you. So when this segment started, it didn't start like this. She gave you the history and the background on how it started. This was started by the founder of Walgreens drugstore because he did not like how his niece was being taught in college in Chicago.
Yes.
They brought this one young lady on, and she went around the country to different universities saying that they were teaching communism and free love. This is how this whole movement started. And I didn't know that. And you have to understand background and education to really understand what's going on. What J.D. Vance, what Trump, and what the white nationalists are doing, because I'm not going to call them Christians because there's nothing about God in them. What they're doing is reiterating and just turning up an old playbook that's been used in the past. And what we don't understand in society is that what we're going through now is nothing new. This has all been done before.
Again, they keep coming back.
Right.
These people keep coming back.
Right. But the thing about it is now is that they've learned from past mistakes and they're more dangerous.
Yes.
Trump has nothing to do with this. He is just a puppet. All right. J.D. Vance, he's dangerous.
Yes.
Because he knows what he's doing.
Yes.
These people have put him in that position so that because they know that either Trump's going to go to jail once he gets in office or he's not going to survive very long. And then they have someone there who's even more extreme and actually knows what he's talking about in power to implement all these things. Let me tell you something. This is all a setup for The Handmaid's Tale. I keep saying it. If you have never seen that show, go and watch. Go and watch it because this will tell you exactly where America is going.
If people do not vote. And the whole also the my fear and my I've had this discussion with Chris and some friends of mine is that these people are not going away.
No.
Remember that. They are not going away. If Kamala wins, which we think she's going to win, Kamala wins the presidency, these people are not going away. And they have been with us throughout history.
Yeah.
If you trace them from the 1700s, you trace them to the 1800s, you trace them through the 1900s, you trace them to the 20th century. These people have been, this 30% has been with us throughout there, but now because of technology, they have the apparatus to now do things that they couldn't do back 100 years ago, 200 years ago.
One other thing that she had mentioned, and I think that this is part of history again, which I didn't even know. All this kind of started like the rise of dictatorships with the rise of Caesar. Okay, that's where all of this is coming from. These are true and tried playbook tactics that have done over centuries. This is not something that has happened overnight. Please, people, go and watch and understand, learn history. I'm so thankful that we have access to all of this information that we can start to learn things. I mean, we were taught a lot of things in school. These kids aren't being taught this stuff in school. It is up to us to educate ourselves and to educate the future children of America, because only God knows what's going to happen after that. And then also the last thing I want to say before I have to jump off, because I have a meeting in about 2 minutes, is that this election is not going to be over on November 5th once the election is done. It's going to take a while to get a clear winner because one, absentee ballots need to get counted, and then two, there's going to be a lot of challenges. So all I have to say to people is to be patient, do not lose hope, but we will win and be victorious in the end.
Thank you, brother Chris.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm out.
And going back on what Chris just said about the election not being over on November 5th, remember that he has already called out the 3 people that's making all these changes in Georgia by name at one of his rallies and said those are the bulldogs, those are the ones that are doing it, and they're already prepared not to ratify the votes.
Yes.
And it has to be they have to be ratified, and there seems to be no movement to get these people out.
Yes.
There seems to be no movement on the part of the governor or anyone else to remove these people who have already said they're committed to disrupting, which is the goal that they were trying to do all in several states around the country, is to disrupt them so that they don't get ratified. And then, you go to the Supreme Court, you go to all these places, right? And so, and you have states where what they didn't understand the last time in 2020, there are some states, some Republican states, run states, where they don't count their absentee ballots until after the election date.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that they happen. They set it up that way, and they didn't change it so that they start counting them when they start coming in. There's some states most states that are counting when they start coming in. There's some states that don't do it. And so that's the problem. That's one of the problems we're going to have with that whole issue when it comes times to vote, because the biggest thing that their biggest hope is that no one gets 270, so you can't declare a winner.
That's right.
And it goes to the current House that we have to declare who the winner should be, right?
They are working. They are working.
They have their puppets and system in place to disrupt this, and then it's going to be chaos all over the place, right? So we cannot, and I think the biggest mistake are people who think this is entertaining, who think that it won't happen because it will, and who are sitting back and saying they're not going to vote. And to the people who are talking to Black people or anyone else about voting in this election for Harris and Walz because they are supporting, quote unquote, supporting the Palestinians. You're not helping the Palestinians by making sure that people that you don't have, that you have, not making sure that you have someone in that White House you can talk to. You're not going to be able to talk to the other person. You not voting or whatever you do or wasting your vote on a third party is not going to help your cause. You can only help your cause by helping the Walz and the Harris and Walz group get in and have the support. They need a House and they need a Senate. Those 34 Senate seats are up. All 435 House seats are up. They have to have that so that you can have a voice. You will not have a voice under a system that says already we want to control not only your early years through high school, your secondary. They also want to control your colleges. They want to control everything.
Well, they don't want college any longer.
They don't want it. But they want to
get rid of colleges.
They want it. That one pillar, that one part calls for them to set up their own system of higher education, which will be based on whatever they want people to learn. So really understand that and stop and wake up. I don't know what it takes. I don't know if it takes shock treatment. I don't know what it's going to take. But people need to wake up to the fact that they don't want anyone to be educated. They want to be in control. They want to keep the billionaires that are supporting this want their money. But understand that you're hurting yourself. Anyone that's out there who wants to, I'm going to support this, they're not for you. They're going to make policy changes in Social Security and Medicare that's going to harm you and your family.
Yeah.
They're going to roll that back. They're going to take it back. They're going to do all kinds of things out there. JD Vance already said he want to raise the age so you like 80, 70 years old to even qualify for anything. And that's then it's going to be limited.
There's a whole lot, but I'm gonna have to let you go,
Go
Elise,
ahead so you can do
because
your
we gotta do our lesson, and then we're gonna get out of here so everyone can get back to work and do what they need to do.
Yeah,
but
my husband's trying to encourage me to come and join you tonight because I'm not watching TV. You better
come on tonight. You better come
on.
I'm
not watching TV. I said I'll think about it.
Tonight you better join us, my dear. We're gonna have a great night.
All right, have a good one.
We're gonna have a good watch party tonight. Anyway, thank you, Elise, for always bringing your perspective. You are adored. We love you. Okay, so we're gonna get into class really quick, and but guys, again, check out Rachel Maddow. Check out the full show from yesterday. You will not be disappointed. If you love history and you want foundational information of what's happening, so that way you can understand what's happening today by understanding what happened in the past. It is our past that, if you do not understand your past, if you do not understand your history, you are doomed to repeat it. Okay, here we go. Let's go to class. It's time for some photography. It's time for some photography. This is a quick one, so this is gonna be easy. This is a quickie, so here we go. Let me get this and put this on a stage. Okay, here we go, y'all. Let me get this Tip Tuesday thing off the board. Okay, today we're talking about 3 self-challenging creative projects for photography. This is to help you become a better photographer. These 3 steps, if you do these steps, if you do what I am challenging you to do, you will not fail as a photographer. You will not become neutral in your learning. You will grow in your learning. You will grow as a photographer. You will be a better photographer, and you will fall in love with being a photographer. This is all, these is 3 simple little steps. 3 of them. Today, let's dive into some creative projects to keep your photography fresh and exciting. Here are a few ideas to challenge yourself and grow your skills. Grow your skills. And this is for everyone. You could be a photographer that's been photographing for 50 years. This is good for you too. This is for all of us. All of us. This is for everyone that wants to improve in photography. 1, 365-day project. You can start this today. Commit to taking 1 photo every day for a year. This project helps you develop consistency, explore new techniques, and document your daily life creatively. Right? So every day, if you can commit yourself every day to photograph 1 photo, just take 1 photo a day. 1 photo a day. For all the photographer lovers out there. And so this is for people that love photography and want to become better. Take a photo every day. It could be of your food. It could be of buildings. It could be the people in your neighborhood. It could be, just your way, a photo as you walk to work every morning. It could be a photo on the train subway station if you're in the train. It could be going to the park every day. Whatever you do, every day, take at least 1 photo. Take at least 1 photo. Next one, themed shots, themed shoots. Choose a theme and create a series of photos around it. Themes can be anything from colors, emotions, seasons, or even specific objects. This helps you focus and think outside the box. You probably say, why is Ron talking about this today? I gave hints of this yesterday in our Motivation Monday. I met this gentleman, an amazing photographer, Ian Reed, an amazing Black photographer. And I mentioned him yesterday. Has been in Congo and doing stories, has been in Ukraine doing photography stories. And so he's been back. I met him through a mutual friend. And ever since we've met, we've become the best of friends. I mean, we talk at least once a week, or we text and talk and share. Or he'll say, Ron, what are you doing this weekend? What are you doing What are you doing? Are you out with the camera? What are you photographing? You gotta get your thing on. What are you photographing? And so 4th of July, we went out, we went into the streets, we went to Manhattan, and we just photographed signage. That was our task of the day. We photographed signs. Oh, that was one. And then we photographed all lots that new construction was going to be built upon, because you will see these windows and fire escapes and all these things in the backyard of some of these places that you will never see again, because a skyscraper was going to go up on that lot. So you are recording history, a piece of history that no one else will ever be able to see. So that was our mission. We had two missions: signage and lots. And we walked around. We started at 57th Street and we walked all the way down to I think the 30s or to 20s. And we just walked around on the east side of Manhattan, looking and just being observant. Create themes in your photography. I noticed Jamel was mentioning, and also Ian was talking, we were talking about making, doing books. How are books created? There are common threads in the theme. There's a theme. There's you've taken pictures of bikes all your life. And so now you can put together a book of bikes. You maybe have been taking pictures of people wearing red jackets for years, red jackets. Now you have a theme, you have a book. So I'm preaching to the choir because this was instructed to me. So this is going to help you. But yes, so be intentional with your photography. So right, you got your 365 days, take one shot. 2, as you're shooting, have a theme in mind, whether it be old buildings, architecture, trees, flowers. It could be anything. It could be several things. And you're just photographing your things you love, and then you categorize them and put them in folders in your cloud storage and say all flowers, all architecture, all windows. Or there's a friend of mine, all he does is walk around cities and around the countries. And he goes all over the world and he only photographs doors. He photographs doors. He's fascinated by doors. So guys, find your theme, and it should be something you love or you're curious about. So your theme should be anything from colors, emotions. It could be Christmas time, fall. This is my time of the year. Autumn, I love photographing autumn. Or even specific objects. This helps you focus and think outside the box. Next, photo series. I hinted already on this. Create a series of images that tell a story or explore a concept in depth. This could be a documentary style series, a portrait series, or a conceptual project. It's a great way to dive deeper into a subject and showcase your storytelling skills. One of the things I like to do is every year, religiously, I must be at Soul Summit at Fort Greene Park. I've photographed Soul Summit probably for the last 10 years, almost 10 years. I got to photograph the people dancing, the expressions, the movement. But not only that, there are people that have been going to Soul Summit for years, and I have documented them over the years. It wasn't my intention when I first started. I didn't know any of this when I first started. It just happened. And now I have a purpose, and oh, wow, yes, I have years, I have almost a decade of information on Soul Summit at Fort Greene Park. And there's other things that I like to do. Like I like to hike. I like to travel. I like to go to places. I love horses. Any place I go, if I can find a place where there's horses, I am going to photograph horses. I want to photograph horses everywhere I go. When I'm in Iceland, I want to photograph the horses. When I was in Asheville, I photograph horses. And when I was in Virginia, photographing the wild horses. That is one of my things. I love horses. So find the thing you love and create and tell the story of it. You may love China, not the place, the stuff you eat off of. You might like collecting those things. It could be whatever you want, but create a series of images that tell a story or explore a concept in depth. This could be a documentary style series. Okay, you get it. So this one was a quick one. I just did a quickie for you guys. This is a collection of signs, like technology signs. And you see, by creating something that is consistent, you tell a story. You see that? You see how that works? Look at that. You see? These are all signs. Signs, electronic signs with numbers and graphs and destinations. Look at that. You create a story. You can create a story. That is what visual storytelling is all about. Here we go. Remember to share your creative project ideas and experiences in the comments here. Make sure, share it so people can know what you're doing so that you can inspire others. Use the comment box in these, every time we're on, YouTube or Instagram. But Instagrammers, you need to be on YouTube so that way you can see it, because Instagram, there is no way to save this where you can easily get to it. That's why we're on YouTube. So now you can just search. You can put in the search Tit Tuesdays, and all these lessons come up on YouTube. So remember to share your creative projects, ideas, and experiences in the comment box. The comments, share, help other people to learn. Let's inspire each other to keep pushing our creative boundaries. Can I say that again? Let's inspire each other to keep pushing our creative boundaries. And there you have it, guys. That is your lesson. Any questions out there? Any questions? Any questions about this lesson today? I hope you learned something. That was really good, right? Any questions? Oh, Omar says, here's Omar, the expert photographer in the room. He says, theme shots are so important for your development. I built my brand using themed shots. And I can vouch for this. I remember some of Omar's early work. He used to photograph dancers. Omar has probably one of the most extensive collections of dancers. He loves photographing dancers. That's just one thing. I mean, he has architecture. Like when he was here in New York, everywhere we went, he took out his smartphone and he was photographing architecture everywhere we went and posting. Architecture and posting. Architecture and posting. Find your theme and execute it. Execute it. Any other thoughts in there? Okay. I think that's it. No more contributions to the thoughts here. Dr. Taji says, it was great. Thanks, Ron. Thank you. Okay. If you learned something today, please give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up. If you learned something today, thumbs up. That's what we want. Thumbs up. I just want to know if you're alive. Thank you, Aya. Aya says, thank you, Ron. Cass says, I am going to have to go through my picks and categorize some picks. Believe it or not, Cass, that's what Ian told me to do. He says, Ron, I bet you have several books. I said, what are you talking about? He says, go through all your photos, all the years you've been photographing, and you're going to see there's certain themes over the years that you have been drawn to. And that's how you'll get your idea of your book. because we had this conversation about creating books. Omar says, very important lessons, Ron. Thank you. Jazzy says, I see your thumbs up, Jazzy. I see your thumbs up, Rashawn. I see it. I see. It's like I feel like I'm in church. I see your thumb. I see your thumbs up. So guys, remember these 3 self-challenging creative projects to help you grow grow your photography. You can grow your photography just by following these 3 tips. They're easy, right? They're real easy. Easy. You can also repeat this. Okay, guys. Thank you for an amazing day. Join together. We got some education politically, and we got some education for our photography. So there's no excuse this week. You can't say, no one can say they didn't learn something this week. We all learned something this week. Make sure you check out Rachel Maddow's page, or her page. And also, if you have MSNBC, go back and catch the repeat show of her show yesterday. You will not be disappointed. And for all those this evening, we will be together at our watch party looking at the vice presidential debate here together as one happy community. Okay, guys. See you later. See you this evening. See you at around 9 o'clock Eastern time. That's when we'll be meeting. I'll be here about 8:45. But 9 o'clock, I'll see you all. And until then, have a great day, y'all. Have a great day. And what do we do? Live life like you mean it. And what else? Focus on what matters.